Viewers, this is a special broadcast. Mr. Gurumurthy is joining us. Needs no introduction, sir. Thank you for speaking to us on India Front. I want to begin by asking you, because we are speaking to you on the 50th anniversary of the emergency. Just tell us what happened to you.
See, that was the time when I had got associated with the Indian Express at about the time. But being involved in the RSS, I was in the underground movement also. So we had enormous amount of work to do at the time. And another, many people had gone to jail and they were all very ordinary people. And for them, ration and other things had to be procured. And we had to collect money and deliver ration to them so that their household runs. So it was a very, very different scenario. In fact, we never thought that Constitution gave us those rights which made us live our normal life.
Right.
If those rights are snuffed out, what would happen to the society was demonstrated at that time. We personally underwent that suffering. Many families used to cry, children couldn't go to school. I mean, it's something unthinkable that today when somebody talks of undeclared emergency or not, and all that, how foolish they are. They have no idea.
Now, Mr. Gurumurthy, you are talking about undeclared emergency. I was going to come to that, but, since you brought it up, do you believe, sir, that people who believe or who are alleging that in the last 10 years we've seen undeclared emergency under Prime Minister Modi, are they undermining or trivializing the pain of those who suffered under the emergency?
I tell you, there are two kinds of things that happened during the emergency. One, all fundamental rights were snuffed out. The media was made to crawl.
Right.
And the Supreme Court was made important. This is important. In fact, one of the Supreme Court judges even gave a judgment. Why are you worried about people in jail? They are being looked after with maternal care. Another Supreme Court judge said that we have a diamond hard and diamond bright future. Who says this is a black period? This is how the Supreme Court fell in line. This is one part, the constitutional rights being suspended,
right,
and all the institutions being made to toe the line. The second part is the Constitution being amended. There were 5 Constitution amendments which were brought. 38th to 42nd Amendment. 2 amendments were concerned with securing Mrs. Gandhi's position as the Member of Parliament and as the Prime Minister, and to ensure that she will never face criminal prosecution even if she ceases to be the Prime Minister.
Right.
Constitutional amendments.
Now, sir, allow me to ask you this. It's interesting, that some of the closest allies of the Congress had been jailed during the emergency. Lalu Yadav spent his time in jail. He even named his daughter Misa after the Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin had recalled how he was arrested during the emergency in his own autobiography. What explains the silence now?
See, they all became partners. For example, Karunanidhi faced the emergency between 1975 and 77, but he joined hands with the Congress in 1980. So they became allies. And Congress and Lalu became allies in 1990s. So once you become a political ally, Constitution doesn't matter. Fundamental rights do not matter. So political convenience makes you forget the damage done to the Constitution. You see, it is not one of attitudes. Understand this. It was, in fact, B.N. Tandon, who was the Joint Secretary in the Prime Minister's office. He maintained a meticulous diary in which on the 31st of December, he wrote that the country is moving towards chaos. And it is only because of the Prime Minister's intolerance. She can never tolerate dissent. And she will go to any length, quote unquote, to preserve her power. And this is going to be, I shudder to think, tomorrow is the New Year's Day, 1975 January. What would happen to the country?
Right.
was 6 months before the emergency.
Right.
So it is the attitude plus action plus suborning of all institutions to present a completely new way of ruling the country. And that is all completely suppressed because Mrs. Gandhi came back to power in 1980. The Shaw Commission report was thrown away.
Right.
It was not available. Only one copy was available with Ira Cherian, who had preserved that copy. And in 2010, we brought out a new edition of that Shaw Commission report, Lost and Regained. And that was released in 2010. That fundamental copy is available. All other evidence relating to the very imposition of emergency and what happened during the emergency were dispensed with. How many people know that emergency gave the right to the government to kill? This question was asked on the 15th of December 1975 in the Supreme Court by Justice H.R. Khanna. He asked Naren Day, you are saying all fundamental rights, including the right to life, is suspended. Does it include the right to life also? He said, and he went one more step. Let us assume a police inspector takes a pistol and out of personal vengeance shoots a man. What is the remedy? To which Naren Day, without batting an eyelid, he said that it may shock your conscience, my lord, and
Right.
it shocks my conscience that there is no remedy and a person can be killed. And a person was actually killed in Kerala. Rajan, an activist, an engineering student who fought against the emergency, was killed, and a road roller was ran over him. So this was emergency. So to say that an emergency kind of situation prevails today.
Undeclared
is
emergency is the
totally
charge. Right. Now, sir, I also wanted to, get you to answer this question surrounding the debate on the election of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The election takes place tomorrow. I'm sure you're aware of what has happened. Om Birla is the candidate of the NDA. K. Suresh has been fielded by the other side. Some people are citing precedent convention. What is your take on what's happening?
You see, precedents and conventions will work only if basic trust exists between the ruling party and the opposition. What is lacking today is that you have branded a person who is ruling this country for the last 10 years as a demon, not only in India, outside India. And you want to have a mutually trustworthy relationship. Somewhere you have to re-begin. He got elected once, he got elected a second time, he has got elected a third time. Somewhere you have got to reformulate your idea as to how to deal with this situation where a man has got elected thrice. You only say he has got so many seats less. But the fact remains he is in power. There is a firm coalition. Somewhere there has to be a meeting point. The opposition is too fragmented to take a common position.
Okay.
Whether to deal with Modi or not is not an issue on which the opposition can come together. Then how do you expect a basic trust? That is the reason for this situation.
Okay. Now, sir, for want of time, I'm going to try something that, people would not dare to do with you. I would expect you to give me short answers now because I have a lot of questions and I don't have the time. So with your permission, I want to do this, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Many people in the opposition say this government won't last. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has said this is a fragile government. People also call him 1/3 PM. Your response?
Sir, this is a political slogan. Whether the government will last or not will depend upon the mutual interest that binds the main coalition partners and the government. In fact, even without the two main parties which are supporting the government has enough support according to the BJP. So it is not that it is dependent only on these two persons, but I am going beyond numbers. Numbers do not make a government durable. It is what the government does and the respect and the capacity of the leadership. I think Narendra Modi has that capacity and respect he commands among his own party and outside.
Okay.
That is what is going to be the period of success.
Now, Mr. Gurumurthy, how would you respond to those who say, including from within the RSS, that the BJP needs to do much more to bring in dharmic issues in public focus?
You see, RSS and BJP have, you see, I know both of them. They have the relationship of a philosopher and a political entity. The philosopher will keep giving his perspective. That will ultimately, in the near term and long term, will guide. But the political party will have to manage its affairs. And it has always been the case. Advani used to tell me there are only 2 points on which there used to be intense consultations between the RSS and the BJP. Who should be the president and who is the organizing secretary? Organizing secretary is appointed by the RSS generally, and the president is selected in consultation with one another. Otherwise, BJP has been carrying on its affairs very independently.